Peace will come to all of God's children. When Rabbi Rodich and I thought we're kind of basing this service today on the late Shabbat, where we each give a very short drash, and when we were talking about the drashot, we were talking about what do we find personally comforting. And I know for you, relationships and deep relationships are comforting to you, as difficult as relationships can be. And when Isaac was singing that, peace will come to all of God's children, it made me realize that one of the things that is actually comforting to me about Judaism is being able to suspend our disbelief at reality. And by that I mean the thought that peace will come to all of God's children asks us to disassociate ourselves from the reality that this is not a peaceful world or a happy world for so many children, yet we sing about it and we pray about it. And for me, when I think about Shabbat Nachamu, and I think about being comforted, I think about consolation, and I think about how difficult these past 2.5 years have been, and still living with the belief that there are miracles, and that there's the mysterious, and that there's the power of God in the world, and that to me, in addition to the beautiful music, feels very comforting on Shabbat. And I thought about the Torah reading from a few weeks ago where there's a man riding a donkey, and he is on his way to curse the people of Israel. His name is Balak, and he is on his way, and an angel shows up to prevent him, and he can't see the angel, but the donkey can. This is in the Torah. This is not like a Mr. Ed story. This is actually in the Torah. And so he is beating his donkey, and the donkey is looking, and this angel of God is preventing the donkey from passing to curse the people of Israel. And finally, after the man beats the donkey the third time, the donkey turns around and says, "Don't you see the angel?" And the prophet can't believe the donkey is speaking to him. And we're supposed to believe that. We're supposed to imagine that there is a talking donkey and that nature somehow can confuse and confound us and be mysterious, but also be amazing. Even in the words of Isaiah for Shabbat Nachamu, Isaiah says, "Unhappy, storm-tossed one, uncomforted, I will lay your stones with fair colors, make your foundations of sapphires. I'll make your windows of rubies and your gates of precious stones, the whole encircling wall of gems around Jerusalem. All of your children shall follow the ways of God, and great shall be the happiness of all of God's children." All of God's children. So when I think about what brings us comfort, especially now in a world that feels very strange in so many ways, I think about the power of God in nature. And I had COVID this past week and recovered, and I thought about how strange it was that everybody experiences that differently, and so many people have come back to life from it. And the entire time when I was suffering, I was thinking about vaccines. And I was thinking about what it was like 2 years ago, and that there's something in nature that's powerful about our ability, our human ability to heal, and that the vaccines are a part of that. And finally, I will say that Rabbi Rodich, you might have been up at 6 in the morning scrolling on Facebook, but I actually took all social media off my phone, and that's a miracle, and that's very comforting to me. And last night, as I was going to sleep, I decided what would be comforting was to look at the Webb telescope pictures of the universe. And I did that, and I thought, there is hope, there is God, there is comfort. And when I shut my computer down, I looked out my window in Sausalito, and I saw the supermoon coming up across the horizon. And it didn't make me feel like everything was okay or everything was going to be okay, but it felt profoundly in the mystery and suspending the disbelief that things are really hard right now, that things, od yavo shalom aleinu, there will be a more peaceful time. There will be a better time as the moon was rising. And it just made me start crying to recognize how powerful the world is, how small we are, and how much we can all comfort one another in tiny ways and great ways. Shabbat shalom.